Our problem statement is that the US President Woodrow Wilson outlined the case for declaring war upon Germany in a speech to the joint houses of Congress on the 2nd of April 1917. What are his arguments for American participation, and which appeal forms are included in his speech?
The First World War started in 1914 with a rivalry between Germany and Belgium. The alliances were Austria-Hungary, Italy and Germany against Britain and France. Even though the United States of America was neutral in the war on the paper, they still supplied weapons and such for the British and French alliance. But on April 2nd, 1917, President Woodrow Wilson went before a joint session of Congress to request a declaration of war against Germany. Wilson cited Germany's violation of its pledge to suspend unrestricted submarine warfare in the North Atlantic and the Mediterranean as his reasons for declaring war. On April 4, 1917, the US Senate voted in support of the measure to declare war on Germany. The House concurred 2 days later. The United States later declared war on Germany on December 7, 1917. We're going to analyze this speech he held on April 2nd in this presentation.
Woodrow Wilson's stand regarding US interference in the war. Within weeks of Wilson's victory over Billy Hughes, the problem of the Great War became even more pressing. Although the Allies were now slightly more willing to discuss President Wilson's offer to arbitrate the dispute, the Central Powers led by Germany were not willing to negotiate. In fact, Germany increased its war effort in February 1917 when it announced that German U-boats would attack every ship in the waters around Europe, regardless of purpose, nationality, or destination. In response, Wilson ended diplomatic relations with Germany several days after the announcement. His goal was not to fight, but rather to inform the German Emperor in the sternest way possible short of war that Germany's actions were unacceptable and risked a confrontation. Germany ignored the threat. At this point, many in the United States began clamoring for war. On April 2, 1917, Wilson requested that Congress declared war on Germany, stating that the world must be made safe for democracy. Congress declared war on April 6, and Wilson signed the war declaration on April 7. Wilson wanted to make it clear, however, that the US was not fighting as an allied power, but merely as what he called an associate power. The difference rested in each power's war aims. Whereas the Allies clearly wanted war spoils such as land and money, Wilson declared that the United States was fighting only for moral reasons, namely to protect democracy from tyranny and promote peace throughout the world.
We're going to relate Wilson's speech to the appeal forms ethos, logos, and pathos. Ethos. When the sender uses ethos, he bases his connection on the receiver's trust. As President of the United States of America, Woodrow Wilson already has the status of being a trustworthy person, so he has the loyalty of the people. Another way he also appeals to the people's trust is by using a lot of formal terms, which is seen in almost every paragraph in his speech. Furthermore, he mentions great authorities throughout the world, such as the Congress and the German government, etc. This shows that he is fully notified about the situation and that he knows what he's talking about.
Logos. When the censor uses logos, he appeals to their logic by staying on subject and strives to be objective, argumentative, and support his arguments with factual evidence. In Wilson's speech, this is used when he states the extent of the war and Germany's different actions. By informing the Houses about different events that there has happened in the past time and what Germany has done to US as well as other nations, he speaks to their logical sense as they get an understanding for why they should interact.
Pathos.
When the sender uses pathos to convince the receiver that his views are the correct, he appeals to their emotions and moods. In this speech, pathos is clearly present when Wilson talks about the US as a nation. Wilson appeals to the emotions by stating the American values and what they should fight for: human rights and peace throughout the world. He says that they cannot just stand by as neutrals any longer and watch innocent people get killed in Germany's violation of human rights. They need to act and make peace in the world again. A very noticeable quote in this speech where pathos is really shown is in the following sentence: "Property can be paid for. The lives of peaceful and innocent people cannot be."
How did World War I end? Due to America's participation, their resources, and their advanced military force, Britain and France and America managed to push towards the German border on the 7th of October 1918. As the British and the French armies advanced, as well as the American, the German powers began to collapse. The countries allied to Germany began to sign an armistice. Turkey signed one in the end of October 1918, followed by Austria-Hungary on November 3rd. Then Germany began to crumble from within. With no allies left, it was only a question of days or weeks until the war would end. On November the 11th, 1918 in the morning, an armistice was signed in a French forest near the front lines. The terms of agreement included peace and stop of the fighting between the entire Western Front. This were to begin later the same day, so November the 11th in the afternoon. After more than 4 years of bloody conflict, the Great War was at an end.